VLSos here. This is a video lesson on equation. We're going to define what an equation is. We're also going to introduce and use many terms that label the parts of an equation. An equation is a comparison between two mathematical expressions. To mean they are numerically equal. An equation must have an equal sign to compare two quantities. And of course, we have a symbol for that comparison, the equal sign. So if we had, for example, an expression like 3x minus 7, this stands for a numerical quantity. We may not have a value for x is a variable, but for every value of x, we'd be able to evaluate 3x minus 7, turn it into a number. But this isn't an equation. There's no equal sign. There's no comparison. We could imagine that we have another quantity like 10. 10 is a mathematical expression. It's a very simple one. It's just a number 10. If I want to compare the 3x minus 7 to the 10, if they were numerically equivalent, then I could compare them with the equal sign. And what it turns this mathematical sentence into is an equation. And this equation has two sides. If we're comparing two different numerical expressions, then the equal sign we can think of as dividing the equation into two sides, one on the right and one on the left. We will often refer to the different sides as left and right when we work with equations. So we can label the right and left side. The dotted line is just a visualization to see the two sides as separate. We may not include a dotted line when we work a solution process. The number 10 we could call a constant because it has no variable component. It's a constant number 10. Whereas the x in this side's expression is a variable. But this expression 3x minus 7 is not only a variable, it has also the 3, which is a number, but when it multiplies a variable, very often we call that number a coefficient. Coefficient in parentheses will remind us that it is a number that multiplies a variable. We also have subtraction. And we could recall that this is not a number, but an action that we can take with numbers. And we call those operations. In this example, one of the operations is subtraction. There's also multiplication. We could include addition and division and powering in our equations. And the equal sign is one type of comparison symbol. when we compare two mathematical expressions with an equal sign, it makes it an equation. But we could use, and we will study, other comparison symbols. The equal sign is just one way that we can compare two numerical expressions. This, we can also remind ourselves, is a term. So is the -7, and so is the 10. There are three terms in this equation. We've just highlighted and labeled one to remind us.